I thought that my wife Helene and I had a better marriage than many other couples we knew. No cheating, no arguing, which were common among several others in our neighborhood, in one of the best areas just outside a Scandinavian county capital. We were in our mid-30s and had 2 kids. Helene worked full-time at an insurance company, but had got so much overtime in the last weeks that she had almost full-time. I worked as a construction engineer. Helen was still in good shape, and as she usually was well-dressed and kept her hair well done, she looked much younger than her 34, and as she was an easygoing character, she was popular both at the job and among her friends. I was still in hot love with her, and had always done my best to be a good husband during our marriage. But times were going to change, unfortunately, not for the better. During the last 5 weeks after Helene came back from a conference, our love life had been falling down to its lowest level since we met 10 years ago. It began with those worn-out expressions, usually used in jokes as headache and too tired after a hard day at the job. And then when I got too fed up by her increasing lack of interest for intimacy in the marital bed, I decided to take a time out from it. She never made any attempts to do anything about it. I think she didn't care. I had noted even some other minor changes in her behavior, such as shorter skirts, more makeup, and her hair done more often than before. I am not so stupid that I understood that something was wrong and began to search for clues but could not find anything. Of course, I accused her that something had happened at the conference, which got her to skip our marital intimacy and give all her love to some Casanova she met at the conference. She denied that anything had happened neither at any conference nor afterwards, and accused me to be paranoid because she worked hard to be promoted at her job. My question was, if she had to do her hard job in some jerk's bed, got her mad. I even tried to get her by surprise, and one day when she phoned me at my job about a problem she had with her car, I said, "Have you asked him?" She said no, and then shouted, "What the hell did you say?" "Just a joke, my love." I replied with a laugh, but had got my first little clue. One evening, when she had left her key ring on a bench in the hall, I noted an extra key on it. She usually had one for the house, one for the garage, and one for her car. When Helene took a shower after her jogging tour, I took the ring to my den, took several close-up photos of the unknown key with my digital camera, mixed some plastic padding, and took an imprint of its both sides. The next day, I went to a locksmith who told me that the key was a standard key to an apartment in an old house. No problem to do one after the imprints and the pictures. Thereafter, I tried another trick. One Wednesday morning, I told her that I must be away overnight, but went home at 7 o'clock in the evening without connecting her and telling her that my overnight stay was canceled. Now I got my first real clue. She had been dressed in a beautiful black short party dress for going out in the evening, which she didn't tell me when I phoned her at 3 o'clock. I pretended to be glad and told her, "Good news, my love. Didn't have to stay overnight. Are you going out, my love?" Then Helen's cell phone, which lay on a cupboard in the kitchen, rang, and as I stood closer, I took the call before she could take it and replied with a pretended feminine voice, "Hi." A male voice at the other end said, "Hello, darling, are you ready to go?" I got too angry to pretend to be Helen any longer and shouted, "Bug off, jerk! I'll castrate you!" The line got dead. Then I turned towards the now a bit pale Helen and told her, "Your boyfriend called me darling. Is the damn jerk by? However, I'm afraid he canceled your date." "Wrong number, of course, you silly rude idiot. You ought to know that my so-called boyfriend only exists in your dirty imagination," she replied. "Okay then. Where are you going tonight in that such outfit? If you've got a babysitter and the lover boy doesn't dare come and catch you, maybe you and I can go out to celebrate something." "We don't have anything to celebrate," she replied. "We can get something. What about a happy divorce?" "I don't go anywhere with you when you begin to yell about divorce without any reason at all. I intended to go to Lena for some gossip, but when you are such a jealous jerk, it's better I'll stay at home and never go out." I've never denied you to go anywhere. I only asked because I thought that a husband is allowed to know where his wife is going. And do you think that I'm such an idiot that I do believe you are dressed up and get your hair done when you are going to a neighbor for a gossip? You had a date with that damn jerk that has been having an affair with you since the damn conference. Please correct me if I'm wrong." Now she had begun to cry when she replied, "You are totally mad, really mad indeed. I don't go anywhere. I'm going to bed, and you can forget all your thoughts about anything in the bedroom for a long time. Pay the babysitter and send her home when she comes. Good night." Now I had got my clue and decided to find out who the damn jerk was before I kicked the cheating woman out of my house. Some men get excited and love their wives even more when they find her cheating and are happy getting sloppy seconds. But that's not my style. I was only disgusted. The next day, Thursday, I returned home after lunch with 2 cassette tape recorders I bought in the morning. An advanced model with a small but efficient microphone, which is easy to hide. They got activated by sound over a certain level and had a capacity for 2 hours of sound each. I hid one in the kitchen and another in the living room where she usually sat when she talked on the phone. I didn't bug the phone line because she knew that I used to tape my work calls when I was discussing measures and such things. Helen knew that, and therefore I expected her to use her cell phone. I even checked the ring binder where she kept her salary statements and found out that she had almost no paid overtime at all. That explained why she didn't need to invent any girls' night outs when she met him. She did it during the daytime and had always been at home before me, so I didn't have any clues. That afternoon, she was expected to be home about 1 hour before me, so she had time to talk on her phone if she wanted. When I came home, she was still angry about her yesterday evening fiasco and didn't say many words to me during the evening. At Friday lunch, I drove home and changed cassettes in the tape recorders and listened to those from yesterday. Nothing of interest in the kitchen, but better luck in the living room. No, I didn't go. Tony came home unexpected when I was dressed and almost ready to go. Tony took my cell phone and pretended to be me when he rang. Yes, Tony got mad and threatened to castrate him. No, he didn't dare to come. Thank God for that. Yes, he got nightmares the whole night. Yes, Tony can be very macho. No, he didn't do anything to me. No, Tony is good man. Yes, I love Tony. No, I can't skip him yet. Yes, I still love him very much. Yes, I love Tony too. Of course I love him. He is my husband and the father of my children. Yes. Now I regret that I have neglected Tony too much, so he got suspicious. Yes, I got a shock when Tony mentioned divorce. Yes, he accused me of cheating. But Tony will never get any evidence, and he will be well rewarded when my affair with him is over. No, I still love him very much, but I have to let Tony be number one for a while so I can save my marriage. Yes, he understands that my marriage is in danger, and a divorce I too high price for our love. Yes, he agreed to let Tony by number one for a while. Isn't that kind of him? Yes. I regret that the conference intimacy got so far. I ought to have been satisfied with the usual one night. Yes, Tony and I are invited at home to the managing director for dinner at Saturday evening. I think I'll get promoted. And then some crap about clothes and gossip about one of their friends who have got some problems with her cheating husband. What nonsense. Tony will get his share later, and he is my husband. Her lover allowed me to be my wife's number one for a while. And her usual one night was a confession of earlier cheatings. Yes, I'm still her humiliated husband, but only until I find out who in the hell her lover boy is. She did never say his name, which had been of great advantage for me. I phoned her on Friday after work and told her that the boys wanted me to join them for a beer and I would be home soon. I knew that Helen got angry because Friday evening used to be our family evening when we always did something extra together with the children. I didn't care. I left my car at the job and together with 2 fellows, we went to a place which had a reputation as a single bar where I met Linda. She was rather nice and in her early 40s, married to a bus driver who was away on a 4-day tour to Poland with a soccer team. Linda was honest and told me that the reason why we met in that bar was because her husband had lost his interest in intimacy. I replied that she had met the right guy because my wife had done the same thing to me. Her 2 teenage daughters were visiting a cousin, so we left early for her place. She had a nice home, and we sipped on a whiskey and listened to romantic music for a while when I slowly let my hand find its way under the hem of her skirt. She regarded it as the signal for the necking to begin and began to kiss me with an amazing intensity. Linda and I decided to have a quick date on Saturday afternoon. Helene pretended to sleep when I came home at 2:30 in the morning, and, to my great surprise, she didn't say anything at breakfast either. I guess that she didn't want to spoil her great day by arguing with me. Helene had no objections when I told her after lunch that I had to catch my car and do some errands at my office. I met Linda in town and took her to my office, where we had a good time at my desk. We agreed to see each other as often as possible. I was even more surprised when Helene tried to seduce me when we were dressing for dinner, which I rejected by, "I won't be number 2, sloppy seconds aren't good enough for me." I saw tears in Helene's eyes. I think she understood that her cheating had been too obvious to be accepted by me. At 6:30 in the evening, we rang the doorbell at the mansion of her managing director, Mr. Jensen, and his wife. After the usual welcome drink and some small talk, we were seated at the dinner table. Mr. Jensen had Helen to dinner lady, and I had Mrs. Jensen. There were even 3 other couples, a bald-headed man in his late 50s with a pretty wife in her mid-40s, a skinny short man, even in his 50s, with a wife of the same age, and a good-looking blonde man in his mid-40s. The blonde fellow had a very handsome wife, not over 40. They were probably some kind of semi-bosses at the insurance company. I observed them carefully to see if Helene paid any extra attention to any of them. She didn't. However, Helen had succeeded in making her very beautiful for that evening and was the belle of the party. Mrs. Jensen and I had a pleasant small talk about several things, and when we were finished with the starter, she suddenly said so everyone at the table could hear it, "Mr. Erickson, you must be a lucky man who's got such a pretty wife." I replied with a slightly increased voice, "I regret to say that I can't agree to that." Now I noted that everybody at the table had their attention on us when she asked, "Why not?" "Because she is a cheating woman." "How can you sit here and say such rude remarks about your pretty wife?" "She isn't any pretty wife. She is having an affair with some damn jerk behind my back." Now Helene got mad and reacted by shouting, "Shut up, idiot!" and throwing her half-filled glass of red wine against me. She missed me but hit Mrs. Jensen, who got mad and shouted, "I think your husband is right." Mr. Jensen asked Helene and me to leave their home as soon as possible. She could forget all her thoughts about promotion. Helen was swearing and cursing me the whole way home and didn't say a word to me during the Sunday. I understood that the final countdown for Helene's and my marriage had begun, and that she probably wanted her lover to comfort her already during the Monday after her terrible weekend, and after what crap she got at the job from her bosses for my behavior at the dinner. Therefore, I connected with my old acquaintance Ola, who used to be unemployed and free to do special missions if the payment got his interest. He had done some successful missions for my job now and then. He agreed to my suggestions, and I hired him to watch for Helene's car at her office parking and follow her when she left. Even if she left in some other car or walked away, his job was to tail her. I had guessed right. At 2:30, Ola rang and told me that Helene was away in her own car. 10 minutes later, I got information where she had parked and went into an apartment house, and I was on my way. During the time it took for me to drive there, Ola had knocked on doors in the house and pretended to collect money for the Red Cross. He had found the insurance company's name on a door to a small apartment where she was together with a man. I had made my preparations and had the spare keys to Helene's car and locked her steering wheel with a steel bar lock. Then I went into the house where Ola met me. During his visit to the apartment, he had left them a Red Cross saving box with a built-in microphone and radio sender. On Ola's radio, we could hear that he did his best to comfort her. She was sorry that her husband had found out about their affair, and now she was afraid of losing him. Then after a while, when we heard them begin doing the deed, I went in. I put my key in the apartment door lock, and to my great satisfaction, I could open it. Ola didn't want to be involved or able to witness anything, so he remained out. I made a rush into the bedroom and found the blonde guy who had been one of the guests at Helene's boss's Saturday evening dinner with Helene in my bed. I reached them before they made any attempts to rise up and hit him very hard in the face. A strange sound told me that his jaw joint had broken. He passed out and fell over the now shocked and crying Helene. I told her only, "Get that jerk to hospital." They were both stark naked and their clothes lay in a pile on the floor. I took the pile and went out. The whole operation had taken less than 30 seconds. Back at my car, I searched his clothes, found his valet, got his address, and went there. He lived in a nice house in a popular area. I phoned his home number, and when I didn't get any answer, I rang the doorbell. No answer even there, so I took his key and went into the house with his and Helene's clothes. In the house, I went to the master bedroom and laid Helene's clothes in good order on his wife's bed and his clothes on his bed so it looked like two people were lying in the bed. Then I went home. I had done what a real man ought to do. Helene had her purse with her cell phone, money, and car keys left, but the car was impossible to drive with the extra steering wheel lock, so she had to call a friend for clothes or take a taxi dressed in something she could find in the apartment as a curtain or a sheet. After 2 hours, I noted her friend Lena's car on my driveway, and Helen, in clothes I've never seen before, came into the house. To my great surprise, she didn't start shouting and swearing, just said in a low voice, "Leif is still at the hospital. He is severely wounded and can neither speak nor chew any food for many weeks." Not so good for him, but I suppose he's got so many good times since the damn cheating conference, so he thinks it's worth it. Then she asked, "Where are the clothes?" "On Leif's marital bed." "Oh my God, how can anybody be so cruel?" she questioned. "Not difficult at all if a man is humiliated and forced to a painful divorce. If he is not a poor wimp, it is his damn duty to get some revenge or be regarded as a laughingstock," I replied. "Who's talking about divorce?" "I'll forgive you everything," she said, and began crying. And my decision is irrevocable. The countdown of our marriage was finished. To my great surprise, Helene didn't want a divorce, but the court was on my side, and 6 months later our divorce was final. If her cheating at the conference had been limited to a quickie, or even a night in the worst case, I would have forgiven her. But a long-lasting affair with Leif as number one was too much to take. Leif's wife was shocked when she found the clothes on the bed, and she divorced Leif, who had a difficult time until his jaw got healed. Helene and Leif bought an apartment together, but separated after only 6 weeks and sold it. Secret loving during working time may be romantic, but living together as a family is a bit different. Linda used to visit me for lovemaking when her husband was away. Then he began to attend therapy sessions for his problems and got an increased interest in intimacy. Linda is now a happy, faithful wife, doing her best to help him. We are now average family friends with my new girlfriend and her husband included. I have met Carolina, a 31-year-old newly divorced beauty. We are dating and have a good time together. Who knows what can happen? And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.